Could the New York Giants be trading for Julian Okwara? There are some rumors surrounding the Detroit Lions edge rusher. We'll dive into that on today's video. Also, the New York Giants are working out a former first-round pick. He plays defensive back. We'll talk about if that makes any sense for this Wink Martindale-led defense. But before we dive into today's show, make sure you all are subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. Because one, you're going to be able to stay up to date on the latest news and rumors. And two, you can help me and Giants Now defeat the Cowboys Report and Eagles Now, two other channels we have here at Chat Sports. If you love the Giants, want free content every day, and you hate the Cowboys and Eagles, hit that sub button right now. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We'll get to the workouts that the Giants had coming up around the corner. Let's start, though, with a potential trade for Big Blue. Cam Marino, who's an NFL insider for USA Today, tweeted out that the Giants are interested in Julian Okwara. Quote, he was told by multiple sources that Okwara to the Giants is a trade to watch. And you might be saying to yourself, Okwara, that is a familiar name. Yes, it is. Julian is Romeo Okwara's younger brother, former draft pick of the New York Giants. They actually both play for the Detroit Lions right now. And with the Giants having played the Lions in the preseason, they had joint practices with them as well. They got an up-close and personal look at Julian. And with the Giants needing another edge rusher, I think this trade could happen, or maybe they sign him once he is cut, or potentially cut by the Lions. Who is he, though? He's a 25-year-old edge rusher who was a third-round pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. He had 3 sacks against the Giants in preseason game number 1. He also has 3 tackles for loss in the preseason, but he's played in just 29 games in 3 seasons. And I was talking with our Lions host here at Chat Sports, Mr. Mike Kimber. Shout out to Micro Mike. He is a legend at Chat Sports. And he told me that he was told by a Lions insider that they are expecting for Okwara to be traded within the coming days. So if the Giants do trade for him, what's the player they're going to get? He has some pass rush pop, and we saw in the preseason he was able to bend the edge and get after Tommy DeVito. Had 3 sacks in that ball game, but it's the injuries that have been somewhat concerning for him. Like we talked about, only played in 29 games in 3 seasons. But you saw in 2021 where he played in 13 games, he could give you some juice off the edge. 27 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and 9 QB hits as a rotational pass rusher is good production. And with the Giants needing another pass rusher, I don't hate the idea of them trading for Julian Okwara. You look at this Giants defensive line, and you see that they are very top-heavy. I believe when you look at the best 5 players on any D-line in the National Football League, the Giants are at the top of that list with Thibodeau, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, A'Shawn Robinson, and Azeez Ojulari. Those 5, good as anybody in this league. But I am worried about O'Shane Ximines, Tommen Fox, Baldonado, and Bauer. You don't really have any experienced or successful NFL players coming off the bench and being an edge rusher. And as we know, unfortunately, as Giants fans, Azeez Ojulari has not been able to stay healthy for a full 17 games so far. And Kayvon Thibodeau, he had injury problems dating back to Oregon, and he missed the first couple games of last season through that sprained MCL. But in a trade, 2 sides have to agree. So I'll ask the question, what do you think the price is for trading for Mr. Okwara? I talked with Mike Kimber, Lions Talk by Chat Sports Insider, and he told me maybe a 6th or 7th round pick, or maybe just a swap of an offensive lineman. Shoot, if we could trade Corey Cunningham, we'll give you Cunningham and Wyatt Davis for Julian Okwara. But I am a little bit reluctant to potentially trade for Okwara for this simple reason. He could be cut by the Detroit Lions. And if he is cut, the Giants could get him for absolutely nothing. And I think that you don't want to overpay or spend something you don't have to if he's just going to become a free agent. So I'll ask you this question. Should the Giants trade a 6th-round pick for Julian Okwara? I think he's a solid player. I think he'd help you, give you a little boost at the pass rush department. But is he worth trading a day 3 pick, 6th or 7th rounder? What do you think? Type T for trade, type P for pass. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So when you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down. Let me know what you think. I'll give you my thoughts in a second. For me, if I'm Joe Schoen and I'm making a move for the Lions pass rusher, I'm only going to trade a 7th-round pick. Not that he's not worth a 6th-round pick. It's just smart, and it's a calculated move because he might be cut. And edge rushers will become available in NFL free agency when the rest of the 31 teams of the National Football League have to go from 90 players to 53 players. There will be players the Giants could be interested in. I go back to a couple of years ago when the Giants, led by Dave Gettleman, signed Quincy Roche after he was a 6th-round pick out of Miami by Pittsburgh, and they ended up cutting him before the season started, and he was solid for the Giants. I still wish he was on this football team, but I don't see the need to give up, not saying a 6th-round pick is a premium pick, but a pick like a 6th-rounder for a player who it sounds like might just be cut. But you also got to weigh the idea other teams may be interested, so maybe you nab him and pick him up before other teams have the chance to negotiate a contract. We'll talk about the player the Giants worked out, former first-round cornerback, coming up in a second. But first, make sure all of you are following me over on Twitter. We are creeping up on 4,000 followers. That's a huge milestone for me, and I want to get there as soon as possible. Everyone that follows me today and tweets at me, Big Blue, I will give you a follow back right here at @MarshallGreen_. That's what the profile looks like. And there's Danny Dimes being the daddy of Aaron Rodgers. All righty, let's get into it. William Jackson worked out for the New York Giants this week. And with the Giants potentially needing another cornerback, this could be the next home for the former first-round pick. The 30-year-old cornerback was drafted in 2016 by the Bengals. That's when the Bengals drafted like 7 corners in the first round over like 8 years. He's a solid player, and he has potential, no doubt about it. But he's only played in 4 games last year due to an injury, and it was a back injury. And that's usually a problem when you have a 30-year-old with a back injury at the cornerback position. You wonder if he's got any more pop left to give to this game. You look at what he's done, though, over the recent years. He's been solid, but his production has definitely fallen off. I mean, in 75 career games, he started 64 times. He has 205 tackles, 1 QB hit, 1 sack, 51 passes defended, and 5 interceptions, including 1 defensive touchdown. He did run a 4.37 40 back at the NFL Combine, but that was a couple of years ago at this point. And PFF wasn't too kind to him in 2022, giving him a 49.6 overall grade. His best grade from PFF came in 2017 when they graded him out as a 90.2 as a member of the Bengals. I still think he could be a solid player if he's able to stay healthy, and the Giants could use another experienced outside corner because right now I'm expecting the Giants to roll 2 rookie corners out in week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys when they are in those sub packages with Deonte Banks on the outside, Trey Hawkins on the other boundary, and the veteran Adoree Jackson in the slot. Not sure how many games they're going to do this with the Cowboys really featuring CeeDee Lamb in the slot a lot. I like the idea of our best corner guarding their best receiver. And with Banks and Hawkins on the outside, they're going to have to learn fast week 1 against an explosive Dallas Cowboys offense. Which leads me to this point. Sign me up for William Jackson. I don't expect this to be an expensive deal whatsoever. And if he's no good and he can't stay healthy, you cut him. And the reason it wouldn't be that detrimental to the team is because I would have to believe it would be close to a veteran minimum deal to bring in the 30-year-old corner. So low risk, high reward, get a guy that was potentially could be your 3rd outside corner and could mentor young guys like Deonte Banks and Trey Hawkins. Banks, first-round pick. Jackson was a former first-round pick. I think that could help him out becoming a pro. I like the idea always of adding good, solid veterans for cheap money. Sign me up for William Jackson. And the main reason is because I am a little bit concerned about this secondary right now. Outside of, we're having to start a 6th-round rookie at corner. And that's no disrespect to Trey Hawkins. He's a good ball player, but it seems a little bit desperate. But I do believe he's going to be able to be an impact player. I am worried, though. So let me know what your level of confidence is in the Giants secondary right now. Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being you are worried and you are not confident. 10 being you're not stressing and you don't even think there's a need to bring in William Jackson. Remember, just a reminder, give me a follow over on Twitter because if the Giants trade for Julian Okwara or they sign William Jackson, the first place you're going to hear about it is over on my Twitter. I'm tweeting about the Giants all day, every day, and I want to interact and engage with more Giants fans over there. So hit me up, give me a follow, tweet at me, Big Blue, and I'll give you a follow back.